Ferguson again. I'd like to thank Amanda Rice for her comments, which I agree wholeheartedly with. President Sanders, you talked about spinning wheels and spending dollars, and I think that's exactly what we're doing here with our pursuit of desalination. And when I see Van Skoyek's letter this month, where we're looking at the FY 2011 appropriations process, where Congress may reduce the amount allocated from 75% to 55%, I think we need to really take a hard look at that. I mean, there is this sort of vision or this dream that you seem to have that, oh, the feds are going to take care of it. You know what? This has been going on for so long and has cost this community so much money and has divided this community. Now, what I want to bring you up to speed on is what's really happening with the Army Corps' work on the geotech investigation, because we've heard nothing. No reporting, you call, you write, nothing. So this morning I did email a member of the staff of the Coastal Commission, and this was what I received from a letter they received, or an email they received from Thomas Keeney, the environmental project engineer of the Army Corps of Engineers. This is dated Monday, October 25th at 11 o'clock in the morning to the Coastal Commission staff. Tom, Mr. Luster, please review these documents. I would like to discuss today. The Corps is seeing this entire project differently. The approved conditional CCD was for an array of geotechnical and hydrogeologic investigations of feasibility. Currently, most of the investigations have been abandoned due to the aloofness on the part of state parks. Thus, we are left with only one activity, that is, one hole to be drilled with a small 7-foot by 15-foot rotosonic drill rig for 1 day to determine if the macro paleochannel and water are present, taking a soil sample in plastic sleeve, taking one water sample and not leaving any temporary well in place. Thus, it is 1 day of work effort. Our ERB chief has asked the questions, does this constitute the same project, or can this effort now be looked at as a separate effort and meet the level of only a negative determination that does not have to go before the CCC and can be accomplished in mid-November when the workhorses from the Midwest arrive with the Amish work horse rigging? Thanks for your assistance. I'll call you at 12:30. Okay, and so then Mr. Luster, excuse me, I'm sorry with all his paperwork, has some questions. He says now to Kathleen Anderson, the project manager, on October 26, 11:26 a.m. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for your voicemail earlier today. Read your questions about what activities the Corps can conduct through the end of the week under the Commission's current approval. It generally depends on two things. One, the activities and their associated impact should be within the project parameters already evaluated by the Commission, and two, they would need to be approved by state parks. Now, we know at this point state parks has not approved a right of entry permit. So when you talk earlier about how difficult it is to get permits, we're still trying to get a permit from state parks, or ACES, I don't say we.
It's a good lesson on how difficult permitting is for anything.
You got it, but I understand you're looking into modifying the project, he goes on, to either use horses or a bulldozer with dead man block and tackle system to move the drill rig along the beach. For either of those options, we would need at least three things. First, a more detailed description, for example, how and where the rig would be moved on and off the beach, what additional heavy equipment would be needed on the beach, where the dead man point would be located, where the cables would be located, necessary safety zones, etc. Second, a description of the additional impacts these might cause, for example, a larger public access exclusion zone due to safety issues, water quality issues, due to horses or potential spills from the bulldozer on the beach, excavating a 6 to 8 foot deep hole on the beach, response to potential failure such as a cable snapping, high waves on over the beach, etc. And third, how and whether the Commission's earlier concurrence addressed these impacts. I understand parks would also need a detailed description of the proposed work for their ROE consideration. Please note too that the wave forecast shows wave heights from 4.5 to 11.5 feet for the rest of the week at Santa Rosa Beach. So we'd want you to include in the description how those heights would affect the amount and type of equipment you're able to mobilize. Hope this is of use. Now, I mean, the point is, this is no easy task. The colonel came in December and promised us by February. Here we are going into November, and their timeline, October 31st, is over Saturday?
Well,
Sunday, excuse me.
The colonel had nothing to do with the Coastal Commission's imposition of the condition on the coastal consistency determination that limited the Corps from September the 1st to November the 1st.
Mr. Sanders, really, first of all, we have a neg deck. Then we have a categorical exclusion because of
I'm just responding to your statement that the colonel came here in February and promised some things,
December,
and here we are in...
He came in December.
Or December, I'm sorry.
14th.
And here we are in almost November.
Because of circumvention of the CEQA process by the CCSD, and that, if you had just
No, that's just a patently false statement.
I don't believe that to be true.
The Coastal Commission, if you bother to look at the tape of the Coastal Commission meeting, you'll actually find Peter Douglas, who was the executive director of the Coastal Commission.
I know who he is.
Actually praising the process that we followed.
Well, it seems to me that the process is not going very well, and one has to wonder, taxpayers' money being spent on a project that is not moving along, our ratepayer money that has been to the millions paid for this. So where really are we after, 2000, 2001? You tell me. And I'll tell you that if you had in 2007 followed some advice that I gave the board at that time, I wrote a letter and said we could be a model community for not only Cambria, for not only this county, this state, this country, but for the world. We could be that model community by doing a lot of things differently. Trust me, we could do it. But if we didn't have that Pacific Ocean out there, what in the heck would you be doing? You'd have to come up with something very different than what you're doing now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.